For many, it starts with a little itch on the breast, a lump in the area perhaps, a bit of redness on the nipple, or even nipple discharge. And you know it's not breast milk. Besides, you're no mother, neither are you pregnant. Research shows that breast cancer remains the leading cause of cancer-related death among Jamaican women and is the most common cancer among women worldwide. And even with increased screenings and public education, it still remains a major health challenge. Two women, Kamala and Kaydia McCoy, both share a similar story. For them, the common denominator is breast cancer. Kamala is in remission and Kaydia is undergoing treatment. They now meet for the very first time to have a conversation about their mutual foe.
So Kaydia, tell me when and how you found out that you have breast cancer.
Oh boy, well, it was in April. I remember I was in the shower and I felt a lump, but it was huge, so I wasn't thinking it was anything because I'm always doing my self-examination. And when I felt the lump, I said, maybe it's just premenstrual syndrome. So I remember after a shower, I went to my husband and I said, you know, feel this, you know, it's a lump and it's huge. And he said to me, maybe it's, you know, premenstrual syndrome. So when my menstruation came, I realized the lump went away, and then in May, it came back, and it came back sooner than the time I had felt it in April. So I said, no, you know, I need to go to the doctor and check this out. So it was the week after my 31st birthday. So I went to the doctor and she was like, okay, let me see what the girl's up to, you know. And she examined the right breast and she said, okay, I'm going to let you do a mammogram and an ultrasound. But she was like, oh, they're just going to aspirate, it is just fluids. And when I went to do the mammogram and the ultrasound, the doctor said to me, she said, you know, she said to me, this is not something that we're going to aspirate. You have to do a biopsy. And right away I said, are you serious? You know? And she said, whatever it is, you're going to be okay. And when I did a surgical biopsy on a Monday, and I waited on the result for about 3 weeks, and my doctor messaged me and said to me that, you know, I have the results and it's not good. What was your experience like?
So interestingly, I was 30.
Wow.
So I was a little bit younger than you. And
Right.
I was having a persistent itching in my left breast. And
Right.
I was wondering what's causing this. Is it my detergent? Is it my fabric softener? What's causing this thing to be itching so much? So one day I was just at home after work on the couch watching TV and I was scratching the itch.
Right.
And I felt something in my left breast and I said, but it's not in the right breast. So
Wow.
then I was like, this needs to get checked out. So it took me a while because I was just in shock, like what could this possibly be? So maybe about 10 days or so after, I worked up the courage, made the appointment and went to the doctor. And then from that now, my GP said to me, go and get an ultrasound done. Got the ultrasound and the results said that there's a mass in the left breast that is strongly suspicious of malignancy.
Wow. Yeah.
And then from there I did a biopsy. And it was October 18th that I got back the results in 2013 that it was in fact breast cancer.
Wow. What was it like when you found out? What?
So I was alone in the doctor's office because I was living out of town at the time.
Okay.
And my doctor said to me, I've never seen anybody take it quite like you, because I wasn't crying, I was asking questions, I was seeking information. And then the very next day my mom came down and she was by my side for the whole journey. So of course the emotions hit me when I left the doctor's office, and I know I had to call her because I knew she was going to be devastated, and that's what made me start crying.
Wow, yeah. Yes, it can be quite overwhelming. You know, I can really relate to that. It was hard. It's like your life changes completely. My life has now become about doctor visits, you know. Everything is about, you know, going to the doctor maybe once per week. It has changed completely. It makes me realize how precious, life is, it's delicate. Don't stress too much on the small things. Do everything you manage to be where you are now, like this?
Actually, no. I had this hope that it wouldn't always be this rough, but in terms of always sharing the story as much as I am now, 7 years after,
Right.
I never thought that I would be sharing it from a place of positivity all the time, because I was
Right.
angry, I was sad,
Yeah.
I had so many questions, like, the typical question of why me. I tried to
Right.
eat healthy, there was no family history, all that type of stuff. But as the months and the years roll on, it gets easier to talk about it and to share details of the journey.
For me, my thoughts, I think that my body, had betrayed me so much. It was really hard.
Like when you look in the mirror now, Kaydia, what do you see?
For me, I see a woman of confidence, I try to be strong. I look at myself and I see the scars, I see the bald head from chemotherapy, and it made me realize that I'm fighting a battle and I have the willpower to live, especially for my daughter and my husband. Were you always this positive?
Not at all. If it wasn't for COVID, I'd come and give you a hug right now. Because I know it's emotional talking about, especially so fresh in the journey. So I'm sending you love.
Thanks. I'm not always positive, but I try to be as, like out of 10, I break down like maybe 1 out of 10, but 9 out of 10, I try to stay as positive as possible. And especially that I have a good prognosis, it keeps me going because all my scans came back clear. So it's just really doing chemotherapy, radiation, and then maintenance for probably about 10 years. But I try to stay as positive as possible.
Just to respond to that, Kaydia, even when I was going through, especially because I'm a mental health professional, as a psychologist, I knew that it's not practical nor reasonable to ask anybody to always be upbeat, to always feel like, yeah, I want to testify today. So I went sometimes for 7 days without wanting to talk to anybody. Like there was real depression as a part of the chemotherapy side effects. And as a part of what was happening, it's a huge personal crisis to be going through. So I just want to encourage you, feel all the feelings. If you feel like crying, it's normal, it's human, it's healthy.
That's what I'm doing. So, chemotherapy is hard. I did major surgeries. I did a oophorectomy, hysterectomy, a nipple-sparing mastectomy, and reconstructive surgery. I did all that in one surgery. So it was, I would take the surgeries any day than the chemotherapy.
In terms of coping though, crying to me is a very natural part of it. Feeling all your feelings, no matter what they are on a given day, are part of it. But how else have you kept going?
Well, my daughter keeps me going. What I try to do is, in between the times that I'm feeling better, I try to go out and do something with the family. I have a mountain of support, and each bring different gifts of encouragement and support. But what was your support like?
So for me, my support system was largely about my mom. She's like my backbone, right? So my mom, and then my aunt, my cousin, and some friends who are like family.
Oh,
and
nice.
I'm really, really grateful that I had that kind of love. So
oh, that's nice.
It's October, Kaydia, and there's so many women who are going through the journey right now. What words of encouragement would you share with them?
Well, I would say to them, listen, there is no I can't do it, because you have to do it. You have to practice, gratitude. You have to try and be strong and be thankful for each day, because it gets better. You just take it a day at a time and just enjoy each day as it comes. Yeah.
Sending you all the love in the world.
Yes.
And I love that part that you mentioned, Kaydia, because it does get better.
Yes.
Little by little, And no matter what the prognosis is, what I found to be essential was just keeping gratitude at the
Right.
center of it all.
Yes,
You know?
yes, you have
Even for
to.
the small things, the smallest of things, I just had this profound sense of it could be worse. And
Yes,
just
yeah.
holding on to that every hour, every day got me through day by day, week by week, month by month,
Yeah.
until October 18th, God's willing, I'll be 7 years since
Wow,
diagnosis.
that's excellent. That's excellent. So what I saw, I remember I was feeling down yesterday, and I was reading something on Facebook, and this lady, she's a 40-year survivor, and I'm like, oh my God, because you know that in the back of our heads we have the what ifs, you know, what if it comes back, but I mean, seeing that 40-year survivor, I'm like, oh yes, I'm going to see my grandkids. I'm going to see my daughter graduate. So I'm just holding on to hope, faith, support, and love right now. That's what keeps me going. Yeah.
And I'm expressing gratitude for you. And
Yes.
I'm glad I got to meet you.
And the same for you as well.
Much love.
Thank you.
The Registrar General's Department records show that from 2010 up until 2014, there are 1,634 death certificates in Jamaica that named breast cancer as the main cause of death. But the truth is, this does not have to be a death sentence. If this is something that you're experiencing, I hope that both Kamala and Kaydia's stories will help you along your journey. And if you know someone that's in the fight with breast cancer, wherever you can, reach out and assist.